No, he seems pretty friendly.
Yeah, he seems nice.
Yeah, the fans seem to like him.
He doesn't say much, though.
No.
Oh, hi,
no,
Mark.
maybe-
Oh, hi. Guys.
Does this work? Oh, yeah. Free selfies. Well, thanks for helping me because you helped me figure something out. Because remember, they didn't want me going out on these talk shows when episode 7 came out, right? I got a phone call. You're not on the poster. I said, fine. It's just another in a series of humiliations. So, I don't want to be on your poster. You don't want me on the poster? I don't want to be on your poster. Remember Frank Costanza, George's father on Seinfeld? They don't want me, I don't want them! I could really relate to that. But that's okay. And actually, I'm turning on my TV and I'm seeing all the people from episode 7 going on Jimmy Kimmel. They're going on the Tonight Show.
Hello.
James Corden. Oh, here's our guest star, Millie Hamill. There she is.
The real star of the show arrived.
You should have seen the way she took over Pinewood. She thought she owned that place. She didn't think it was Pinewood. She thought it was MGM. Metro Goldwyn Millie. She's actually Chelsea's dog, my youngest daughter. But since we've all been, together for so long, and then she comes out to Malibu, I think of her as my dog. And in lieu of grandchildren, that's all I have. I'm going to get more. I'm going to keep getting pets until they give me a grandchild. So no, basically, I was just going to tell you, I thought if I ever go on I started really getting used to not being on talk shows. I love everybody else. Daisy was good. John was good. Carrie's always funny. Gary, come on. That's an ambulatory sight gag right there. It's a 4-legged sight gag with the tongue.
I can't.
Millie does tricks, but she can't do the tongue. So I thought I'd try this today, and you just proved it didn't work at all. So I love trying things out on the road. When you do Broadway, you try out of town. You go to Boston, you go to Chicago, you go to Baltimore before you come into town, and you get rid of all the stuff that's terrible, hopefully, and then you're ready for the New York critics, because they're the meanest. And you just did a version of Out of Town, because I said, I know what I should do if I go on a talk show. If I go on one talk show, I'll have them, let's say Stephen Colbert, because he's a huge Star Wars nerd. Did you know that? He knows more about Star Wars than I do. So he'd love it. He'd say, oh, Mark Hamill wants to come on my show? Sure. And they'd promo it. They'd say, next Monday, from The Force Awakens, actor Mark Hamill. Everybody goes, ooh. I mean, if they like Star Wars and they like Mark Hamill. Those are the people that go, ooh. And then, and they keep talking about it. Oh, it's only 4 more nights. 2 more nights. Day after tomorrow. Tomorrow! Right here, Mark Hamill from Force Awakens. So on the night, they do their usual show, do the monologue, they do the sketch comedy. They might have a guest before me. I don't know. I don't care. But they just build it up. And when it comes time to introduce me, I said, this is what should happen. The curtain goes up. I'll be in my street clothes in a hoodie. I just tried it right now. It didn't work. I'll have my back to the audience with a hoodie on, and I'll stand there for the longest time, and then I'll slowly turn around, slowly, and pull the hood down, and just stare at the audience. Then check my watch and leave. Just walk right out, get into a car, go back to the hotel, and that's all. The curtain comes down. That's my sense of humor. I thought that would be great. It'd be either really funny or really piss people off. But for me, as long as you get a reaction, I'm good with that. People say, do you like playing Luke better than you play the Joker? I said, either one that gets a good reaction. I loved being Luke, because, he seems to be, people like him because, with Han Solo, you're not really sure where he's coming from. He might get drunk and punch you in the nose. Princess Leia's royalty. Who can relate to loyalty? Royalty. I mean, she seems like a nice person, but she's royalty. You have to watch yourself. Don't curse, you know. All these things. My character is the easiest person to be around. He's not like intimidating. Even a 9-year-old looks and goes, "Oh, I could do that." What's he do? What does he do? He's basically, he runs a water evaporator, a moisture farmer. I could do that. No sweat. Later, of course, he developed some skills. But I always had that theory that Luke is the most accessible because, he's unintimidating. He's, he doesn't, one of the reasons if you read the novelization of Star Wars, the section they cut out where he actually goes to Tashi Station. I know, I've been the butt of so many jokes, but I was going to Tashi Station because of Pelican Burners. Well, in the movie, but it got cut out. I'm the only one that doesn't have my original entrance. Did you know that? The first time you see Han Solo, that's his first scene. The first time you see little Princess Leia, that's her first scene. The robots, every character that you see, that's their first scene. The first time you see me, that's like my third scene. They cut out the earlier stuff, because what it was, how many people have seen Star Wars here? All right. All right, well, if you'll remember back, when the droids take the escape pod and go towards Tatooine, they cut to me out in the desert in that outfit. In the pictures you go, what's with the Gilligan hat and the poncho? I never saw that, because this was the scene that was cut out. He's out, he's working on the moisture evaporators, he sees something up in the sky, he takes out his macro binoculars, I remember it said in the script, and he looks up at the sky and he sees two little, or just sort of like a glimmer. He gets very excited. He runs and jumps into the land speeder, and it tells one of the droids, the one that has the binocular heads, come on, come on. I saw this on YouTube. It's a deleted scene, right? Aye. Okay. Anyway, he blows a gasket and he goes flying off to Tashi Station. And here's what I thought was interesting about the fact that it involves character. He runs into the station, and there's Anthony DeForest as Fixer, there's Koo Stark as Cammy, and there's Garrick Hagan, who's here as Biggs Darklighter. Yeah. And several things that you learn, I think, are important, for me, for character. First of all, everybody ridicules Luke. Oh, wormy, he's been out in the sun too long. Nobody respects me, okay? I'm not popular. There they are, okay. For those of you scoring at home, that's Garrick as Biggs. There's Koo Stark. See, there is another eligible young woman in the galaxy that's not your sister. What a terrible loss that was when they cut her out. And then, of course, Anthony DeForest as Fixer, and me in my goggles. And Gilligan. Thank you so much for illustrating that. Over here. So he's not popular. I remember Koo Stark is sitting on Anthony DeForest's lap. She called me Wormy in that sort of snide English accent. And Biggs is dressed out in this Imperial uniform, right? And I'm like, wow, cool! There's no political persuasion. He's not like, oh, you're in the Empire? No, he sees the uniform and he goes, oh, wow, that's cool. Biggs says, well, come here, I want to talk to you. And we go outside and walk around the teen club, we called it. And he said, well, I just want you to know, Luke, that when I get the chance, I'm going to jump ship and join the Rebel Alliance. And again, no political persuasion. I'm like, whatever. I don't have an opinion on the Empire or the Rebels. I just want to get out of here. I just want to get off my planet. Who cannot relate to that? I gotta get away from home. It's driving me crazy. So those are important character things, I think, that you don't get. But what happens is, and they're right, if you cut to Luke at that point, it's a whole new setting. It's a new character. You go, well, who's this guy? And, you know, we're following this. You're on the own. But basically, they don't come to Luke until he naturally comes into the story when the Jawas put R2 on sale. So it makes sense. And I kept thinking, well, they keep putting out these new editions, you know. Eventually it'll show up. Oh, we get a new Java, we get, I don't know what, more twinkling lights, and who knows. All right, so basically I wasn't supposed to do this. So they want me to leave. I would imagine. Well, that ends the prepared. I'm just not prepared at all. Well, any questions? Any answers? Any wags and bones? Okay, now he's saying, did you really say Carrie? Let me tell you something about this. This was printed in a book, Famous Movie Flubs. Here's several things you ought to know. In that scene, we were at a sound stage at Shepperton, which was not soundproof. Every single sound in that scene, I mean, they took out the entire soundtrack, and every sound you hear, every clink, every walk, everything is created after the fact. So when George saw my lip flap, he said, "What were you saying there?" And I said, "I don't know. I remember looking around and I went, oh, there she, as in, there she is. Oh, there she." And he said, "Well, say that then, and do it the way you did it." So I did. The microphone's here. Oh, there she, as in, there she is. George hates in-jokes. For me to call her Carrie, I'd have to get it past George, which I couldn't do. And number two, it's sort of insulting to me that someone would think that I would sort of inadvertently just forget where I was and call a character by their name. I mean, come on. I know I'm not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree, but I ain't that stupid. But thanks for asking. Yes.
I have a question for you. Are you happy now that you got more lines in episode 8 than you did in episode 7?
Oh, you tricky thing. Do I have more lines in episode 8 than I did in number 7? Because, also, everything gets everything gets picked up on the internet, right? Everything's news. Yesterday during a talk, and I said, and then when Daisy, who plays, okay, that's what happened. Give me a second, it'll come to me, right? And then on the headline was, Hamill forgets Ridley's character's name. Anyway, so, I had a momentary, wait a second. But what I loved was the guy that did the follow-up question is, what's her last name? I said, well, her last name is, oh, boy, you trying to trick me. Now, I love the fact, you'll love this. You go to all this trouble. Some of you had to leave jobs, save and scrimp and save to come here, maybe thousands of miles away, and get people to watch your pets. Is she going to be gone because you love Star Wars so much? And look at all these faces, these lovely expectant faces. Mark, please tell us something. One little morsel about episode 8. Anything, just, you can mouth it.
Tell us about episode 9.
Something about episode 8. You went to all this trouble. You know so much about Star Wars. You want to know something about episode 8. You spent all this money. And here's the funny part. I know you'll love this. I'm contractually forbidden to talk about it. It's not funny. It's funny. Because you spent so much money and time and effort. I can't talk about Star Wars. I love it. I guess it's not that popular with this crowd.